I'll be sharing information about what is happening to everyone right now, how you're feeling and why you should stay out of the drama.
I wanted to channel in the Lemurians just because I've been hearing a lot about people being really sad, really kind of frustrated, not getting the answers they're needed, the clarity they're needed, feeling like it's easy then hard, and then a lot of people are really struggling bringing in their own light and bringing in more happiness, and I just find right now the energies are pushing against us, and the energies are trying to get us to get rid of our stuff, and it's coming up really fast and really hard. And so what's happening is people are following all that information as it's coming up, and really you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to identify that it's there and just kind of let it go and just kind of breathe through it. And then as that happens, you'll find that things progress easier because it's just lifting off and you're not getting lost in the story. But even I do the same thing. I get lost in the story. I get lost in the whole drama of everything, and then it just kind of sucks me back down again, and it's so funny because even I know that, and then after I come out of it, I'm like, oh man, I did it again. And then what's the other thing that's happening is when we're going through everything, and we're following the drama, we're getting lost and our light dims, and then life becomes hard. And we're always told that life is supposed to be easy. We're always told that life is supposed to be giving us all the tools that we need to make it infinitely easy. But yet it seemed like in the last few years we've been struggling, mentally, emotionally, physically. It seems like we're tired, we're worn out, we're pulled in too many different directions, and everything is just really, really hard. And yet they keep saying it's supposed to be easy. So I'm like, okay, so what's really happening here? And what's happening is we're getting lifted up vibrationally, but then everything around us brings us back down again, and then that keeps happening. And then the other thing I've noticed is there's a lot of negative talk out there. I'm not just talking about people, I just mean universally. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I always hear it as a male voice, and it's really dark, and it always says these like negative things, and I only hear it when I start going down vibrationally. And what that means is when I'm hard on myself or when I beat myself up, that's when that voice comes in, and it's really, really, really dark, and it's always the same voice. And I'm like, okay. So then one day I went in with it. I was like, okay, well, let's see where you want to take this. You keep telling me all this negative stuff, and you keep telling me, that it tells me sometimes I'm worthless, and I'm like, okay, I get that. I totally agree with you. I get it. Let's just see where you're taking this. And it just kept going down and down and down. And we got like right down to the bottom. And I was like, so what else are you going to tell me? What else have you not already told me? And it was really interesting because then the voice got quiet, and I was like, oh, so there's really nothing past this point. I'm just supposed to get down to the lows, and that's just where we sit. And then the voice was all quiet. So I was like, okay, so I see where your power is. Your power is in that point of going down. But once you get there and you're like, okay, I totally agree with you. I'm not arguing with you. Yeah, I'm all those things. That's great. Let's just keep going. It was all quiet. So then I realized, okay, so there's power here. There's power in that moment. There's power of moving past that point. There's power of redefining yourself. So when we get down on ourselves and when we get hard on ourselves, we don't have to stay in that space forever. We don't have to stay in that space of feeling out of control or being hard on ourselves. And we're really not even supposed to go there. And that negativity for some reason is there collectively. And it always sounds like it comes from a different space, I almost want to say a different dimension, because it feels not quite part of our realm, but it's keeping us at this lower vibration, right? And it's taking us out of these spaces. And what we're supposed to be is we're supposed to be the lightest we're supposed to be. And I keep asking for tools, and what they said is call in the Lemurians, because they're the ones who actually perfected this. They're the ones that actually lived in unification with everyone around them and everything. And when you're in your happiest moment and when you're connected, that's when you feel that sense of truth, that sense of purpose, that sense of, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be here on this planet. Life is wonderful. This is incredible. I can keep going. But when we get hard on ourselves, that destructive energy, that destructive negative self-talk comes back in. So anyways, to stay out of those spaces is really learning about loving yourself. But sometimes it's hard to get into those spaces when we feel like we're out of control, or when we feel like we're hurting, or when we feel like someone is like negative towards us. And what it is standing up for ourselves and believing that what we're doing is right, and not allowing ourselves to get taken down. And the only way we get taken down is, once again, not loving ourselves. So everything boils down to that. And so this whole spiel and this whole presentation is all about teaching us how to love ourselves, giving us a few extra tools on how to bring that back. And so those moments where we're like nose diving, it's like, nope, how do we bring ourselves back up? How do we not let everyone's external chaos bring us down? How do we allow ourselves to stand tall and proud in our power? How do we allow ourselves to be strong, you know, and believe in ourselves and not shoot ourselves down, right? And how do we stay on our light path? And how do we make our life easier, right? And all these things. And so the reason why they wanted to come in was they wanted to teach us some tools that we can use, right? That are relevant and that are easy. Yeah, so I'm just going to connect to them 1 second. So I'm going to channel them as best I can, trying to get out of control because I'm a control freak. So I'm going to try to get out of the way the best I can. Hello, we are here today to allow this energy to come through for you so that you can feel above yourself, above your space, so that you can feel more light coming through you, so that you can allow your light to shine onto others and allow it to fill your space. There's many of those around you that have been eyeing you up, trying to bring you down. We are here to lift you up and realize there is light even in their dark gazes. There is light even within their souls. There's light everywhere around you if you see it. Once you see it, that's when you capitalize on the mastery that is around you. Once you see that things and people no longer affect you, you have mastered. The thing and the beauty that is around you is all love and light. It's everywhere. It's in everything. It's around you everywhere. Bring that energy in and you will rise above. Life is meant to be perfect in all forms, even in its imperfections. And the lightness will just carry you forward and bring you forth. We have come in today to teach you some skills to bring forth that light, to allow that energy to come through for you and to deeper ingrain into your DNA. And once we do some integrations, you'll see that you will even rise above just by breathing. Something so simple that's in every human, the breath of life, the breath of light, the breath of everything. It is your deepest connection to all things. And it's the easiest way to connect with all things. And you just got to allow that energy to come forth for you now. So now together, we're just going to take one deep breath in and allow the light to come in. I want you to visualize with every breath that you take, more light is coming in. And as you visualize that, I want you to imagine that the darkness, the heaviness, the stress, the anxiety, the worries, everything is coming out. With every breath in, lightness. With every breath out, everything dark leaves. And it's a simple way of bringing in more light. And we're going to come up to each of you and touch your head and bring in more light for you because your DNA is working against you. There is a plug in your DNA that is preventing you from bringing in as much light as you can. There's moments where it activates and then it deactivates. And what we're doing right now with each of you is going in there and activating it. We are also opening up your pineal gland to allow the access to higher dimensions and higher realms. That is your birthright. And you all forgot that. That is part of integration in who you are, the connection with higher self and higher beings. All this information is starting to come through for you now. And as you're being elevated, you'll be able to access lighter and lighter light realms. More information will be encoded into your DNA to allow that access and that ease to make that transition easier. It should be just as easy as a thought. It should be just as easy as a breath. Everything is lightness around you. And I want you to see that and feel that and experience it. I want you to be able to see the glow of everything around you. I want you to be able to see the glow of everything that is in you and around you. And I want you to feel that energy coming through you. Even when you touch a desk, I want you to be able to feel that sense of grounding, but also that sense of light and love that comes off that desk. And when you touch your own hands, I want you to feel the warmth that comes through your own hands. And I want you to feel that warmth and that love and that light that comes through from you. You and your higher self are connected to the divine, connected to the higher realms, connected to all that light that's out there. So as you're breathing in, you're grounding. As you're breathing in that light. As you're breathing in, you're developing that sensory connection. As more light comes into you, I want you to imagine your cells becoming lighter every single breath. I want you to imagine your brain getting more active with every single breath. I want you to imagine you opening up to the higher realms with every single breath. Allow that to be your connection. You have to breathe for life, but you also breathe for connection. Allow that connection to come forth. Allow that energy to come forth. And as you're breathing, feel all the tension and tightness coming out of your body. And we're trying to do a simple integration today so that the higher realm information can come through. So as we're talking, we're downloading you with higher bits of information. So you will feel your head kind of tingly. You will feel your spine kind of activating, because what we're doing is we're bringing through all that sacred energy, all those sacred symbols, all that sacred information for you. And it's all coming down for you. Feel your cells vibrating higher now and know that information has already been downloaded into your DNA. Your cells are responding differently. They're moving differently. And I want you to feel that. Feel your mind and your consciousness expanding right now. Allow all that energy to come through and open up portals, open up doorways, open up ascensions. It's as easy as a thought. It's as easy as a connection. But as you vibrate higher, it gets easier and easier. It's like you're able to open the door easier. It's almost like you're able to grab that doorknob and twist it and open it. You know, at the beginning, it may feel like you're trying to reach for that doorknob and you're falling through it. But as you rise, it will get easier and easier and easier. And soon the doors just open themselves. And soon you just walk through and it becomes as easy as breathing. And so that's why we're starting with the breath. It's the easiest integration. It's the easiest way to bring you guys forth, to bring you guys into that higher aspect of yourself. And now what we're going to do is we're going to connect your body to your light source, because there's a lot of disconnection there. You know, as you start out as a baby, you see that sense of oneness. You see there's no difference between you and the other person. You see there's no difference between you and a dust. There is no difference. And that's really the reality. And then as we get older, we are taught that there's a separation, there's a difference. And so we lose that connectedness to self and connectedness to one. What we want you to do is to embrace that sense, to really, really hone back into it, to allow that feeling and that knowledge to anchor back into you. I want you to feel like you're the size of the room. I want you to feel like you are above all things. We have come in today to bring that aspect back to you, to bring that lost knowledge back to you, that integration of higher self. Allow that to integrate now. As you're breathing right now, we want you to go back into that space you were a minute ago, where you were feeling as big as the room, where you were feeling like you were one and connecting with everything. Realize that energy is everywhere, and it's just as easy as connecting back to your breath. It's as easy as the thought of, I want to connect. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It is just there. It's just a moment of getting out of your present reality into the actual reality. This space that you're in is the actual reality. It's the divine reality. It's the divine matrix of all things. This is the space that you're supposed to govern from, breathe from, be from, exist from. It's like you guys kind of pop in and out of existence. We're here, then you're not here. You're here, and then you're not here. It's like we see you for a minute and then you phase out. And it's a really interesting reality to see that all of humanity seems to do that. Nobody seems to vibrate over here, which is where they're supposed to. It's almost like all the keys to that knowledge has been forgotten. It's in everything. You pick up a rock and the knowledge is there. You touch a tree, the knowledge is there. If you look at the vibrating tendrils of all things, it's all there. It's all little lines connecting things. Trees communicate that way. They laugh, they sing, they cry together. There's a line there. And if you pick up a rock, you'll see that line goes to other rocks. And if you watch your line, it connects to other people and other things. We are all connected, and you need to really see that. Even if you feel like it's your imagination, that's the truth. That's the gateway to truth. That knowledge there, it's all there, that connectiveness. And you have to realize that. And as you lift up in reality, and as you lift up in vibration, you'll feel that energy come through stronger and easier. And then you'll pop into the divine matrix where you can create, where you exist and coexist all at the same time. This is your oneness space. This is the space you are truly meant to be in. The human form with the human mind, you all have forgotten these skills. You all forgotten what it's like to be here. You notice when you hold a baby, you feel that divine connection. You feel that divine inspiration. You feel that divine connectiveness. You feel all of that energy just flowing through you. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's incredible. Connect back into that space. It's all within you. You had it when you were a kid and running around in a field. You felt that freedom. You felt like you had wings, and actually you all do have wings. Remember that there is literal wings attached to you. They're just vibrating at a higher frequency than your physical body. But your body can be lifted up to become a higher manifestation of itself, to heal itself, to move through these dimensions fast, and to create faster. So allow all this energy to come through you now. So now we are attuning you to higher frequencies so that you can have one foot in your world, one foot in the divine matrix. It's easier once you shift fully over, but it's your brain that's fighting. So we need to be able to do pieces. And because you've forgotten, your DNA's forgotten, your cells have forgotten, your whole life force has forgotten. That's why you have to work so hard to bring more life force into you. You're not just breathing it in. You're not just being a part of that, which is what's, once again, your divine birthright. Remember that. Remember this integration. Remember that truth. Remember that we are all one. And now we're going to let that energy carry you up a little bit further now so it's easier. And now that your cells are vibrating where they need to, we are doing more of the integration in your mind so that you can have this understanding on a deeper level. And you can feel it on a deeper level. And you can vibrate in the divine matrix at a deeper level. There, it's almost complete. Yourself. And so what you can do is imagine a part of yourself that's lost or scared. You can just pick that piece up and imagine it like a little tiny fairy in your hands, and you can just cover it with your hands. So just put it in your hands and cover. And that's one way of protecting that self that's scared or vulnerable or feeling unprotected or feeling uncertain. Whatever that is, you are actually giving that part of yourself love, and you're allowing that part to heal. The other thing you can do is when you feel like you need a physical healing is that you can just give yourself a hug. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but what ends up happening is when you're putting your hands over your heart space, even like this or like this, what you're doing is you're bringing that universal energy into your physical aspect and you're opening up your heart chakra. A lot of times we forget to give our own self love. So that's what we're working on today, is giving ourselves back that love, giving ourselves back that patience, back that truth, back that understanding that we deserve to be love and light. It's that easy. And so when you do things like that, you get that remembrance of what it's like, and that energy comes back through you. The other thing you can do when you're feeling trapped or bound by things, or when you're feeling like you can't move forward, is imagine the chains that are there. And because energetically, we're attached to things. And what you can do is just take that chain off and go, oop, I don't need it anymore. And maybe you got to do that 6 times a day. You got to pull that chain off, because that chain is an energetic link to a vibration that no longer serves you. It is coming up for a reason. If you are aware of it, if you know it's there, if you have that awareness that you no longer want want it, that means it's done. That means it does not serve you. And soon you'll get to a point where nothing serves you but love and light. It's the human construct that we believe that we deserve negativity, that we believe to be happy all the time is weird, that the brain is programmed to think unhappy. And then when you think happy, that feels really weird. But you think about it, when you were a kid, it was the opposite. It is just how we've been programmed. So what we're doing today is we're trying to unprogram you, that reality, because that is a negative programming, but it's also a phase out of existence. That's how you're phasing yourself out of this love and light. It's almost been programmed by numbers. The human consciousness is connected. And when enough people believe something, that becomes reality for everyone. And because we're connected, it's a numbers game. There's a certain number of people, when they believe something, that becomes reality. But what you can do is change that reality by spreading that information, by allowing you to be in the vibration of love and light. And when you connect to others in love and light, you allow them to experience the love and light. And so each time that you are out doing your work, realize that you are sprinkling love and light on people, and you were changing that number. You're changing that programming, and you're allowing people to go back to their authentic self, which in turn brings you up higher. And whenever anything is bothering you, just imagine disconnecting it. Imagine pulling those cords and letting it go. The other thing you can do, which is really, really amazing, is you can reprogram your water. And so we're going to continuously do that for you. And what that means is the minute you think, I want to drink love and light, you can. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to do the water game. And that's what we like to call it, because humans are so adept to thinking negatively and they forget how to play. So we're going to call it a water game. So with the water, I want you right now to take a sip of the water and just see what it tastes like, okay? Tasting afterwards, okay? And so all those people who have the recordings here, the same thing is going to happen, okay? So I'm just going to bring them in right now. And they're going to change the water. To me, it sounds like it's singing now, and it looks all sparkly, almost like fizzy, like pop. Okay, so now I want you to take a drink of your water and then tell me what you taste. So when I tasted it, it tasted like fresh, like totally fresh stream water. And I felt like an instant hit of warmth, and it kind of lifted me up. So what I want you guys to do is just to take another sip. Okay, so, and then just kind of feel where the energy from the water is taking you, because they've integrated the water. And so in the future, anytime that you're feeling down, just say, okay, Lemurians, please change my water, and then have a sip of your water and you'll be instantly lifted up. And so that's why they're trying to give us different kind of skills and stuff, because sometimes you need just a little bit more. Sometimes just hugging yourself isn't enough, right? Sometimes just breathing isn't enough, right? Sometimes just holding yourself in your hand and loving yourself just isn't enough, right? So they're trying to give us a few more practical skills that we can take with us. If you're wearing a necklace or you have a wedding ring or a ring, right? I'd like to create talismans. Okay, and this is what they're saying is we need them to be like protection, not protection in a negative way, but protection in a good way. And what that means is when you can wrap yourself in more light, it is easier to stay in light until you've learned that mental aspect of bringing in more light. You know, it'd be great in the perfect world if we were levitating and right? You know, I'd be perfect if we never beat ourselves up, or we'll never hard on ourselves, or we never felt like we didn't do a good enough job, you know, things like that. You know, it'd be perfect if every time we walked out of the house, you know, our car started perfectly, you know, things like that, right? All the money we ever needed was there, you know, but what it is we've come to a point in our lives where we've manifested a lot of stuff that has put a lot of roadblocks before us. So it's not our guides putting the roadblocks before us. It's not creator putting the roadblocks before us. It's us. So what it is when we got older, we didn't understand the power of our manifestations. We didn't understand the power of our thoughts. We didn't understand the power of the present moment, right? And so we spent all this time in this negative stuff, you know, thinking we have to work really hard to get everything, that, you know, everything's a struggle. And, you know, that whole like paradigm that's always been there in our reality, that's in everyone's thoughts, right? So once again, it's a numbers thing. Everybody thinks that, so therefore it's somewhere in your subconscious, that thought, right? And so therefore when you connect to that, you start manifesting things to be harder. You start manifesting life to be harder. You start manifesting negative people to come into your life and things like that. And so a talisman is very important, or like whatever you want, you know, it could even be a stone in your pocket, but, you know, just to give you that sense of when you're not feeling good, you just grab it and just close your eyes and hang on to it for a moment, and it will give you that sense of calmness. It'll give you that sense of peace. It'll give you that sense of knowledge. And what I mean by that is when you're struggling with something, just ask what it is I need to know, learn from this, and you'll know. Or what is it I need to do? You'll know. It's not a vision in your head. It's not a voice in your head. It's a knowing. You'll know. Because you ever tell somebody something and they're like, yeah, I know that, right? Because we do know it, you know, we know. So because we're so connected, we know, we just don't listen. And so that brings you back to just listening. But it also brings in the wave of light to help protect you. So in those moments that you're going to kind of go down, it will kind of like keep you a little bit more lifted up. And we're going to bump up the energy from it so that it is powerful, so that it is creating a vibration and a wake around you, but also so that other people will sense it and feel it and experience it. So what I mean by that is, like, have you ever had it where someone is wearing like a jewel and you just, your eyes are just like stuck on it? You're like, oh, weird, I keep wanting to look at it, right? Because the vibration is so high, you're not quite sure mentally what you're looking at, but subconsciously your brain's like, oh, pretty light, you know?
Your
I
totem
didn't
or
really give you
talisman
guys much
can
time to
be
prepare
anything
because I'm
you
just listening
choose.
to what they're
It can
saying
be
to
a
me.
ring,
You can change it later
necklace,
on, but it's
rock,
just really
stick,
whatever comes to
or
mind
something
right
on your
now.
desk. Whatever you choose.
So just hang on to it and I'm going to connect to them. Thank you for allowing us this honor to do this with you. We have come through very strongly right now to do this for you. We've had to become a little bit more physical, so therefore the voice is changing to be able to attune and acclimatize to that. We've had to go down to the DNA of the metal and the wood, which is a totally different vibrational frequency, and we're lifting it up. It's going to change dramatically, and you're going to get a different feeling off of it afterwards. You're going to get knowledge and inspiration. We're going to put ancient knowledge and gatekeepers in there so that you can connect with that wisdom at any time. Anytime you are feeling anything other than love and light, you can gravitate back to this. And if it's not in your possession, you can just think of it, because there is no physical space to all things. It's intangible. You can just think of it and you are connected. Anytime you want or need anything, divine light, inspiration, protection, anything, all your guides will be there, deep rooted within these talismans, giving you the energy and the awakening and the recharge that you need. Allow this to give you more energy. Allow it to give you more strength. Allow it to give you more purpose. Allow it to integrate more deeply, firmly within you so that you are deeper ingrained into the oneness of all things. Allow yourself to feel as you're hanging on to it like it's a part of yourself and you're a part of it, that there is no separation between you. We are bringing in the light codes to bring it back to its highest vibration, back to its truest form, as we're bringing you up to your truest form. And you guys are going to match in frequency. You'll feel a change to the density. You'll feel a change to how it feels within your hand. You'll feel a change as it's near you. You'll feel a vibrational pulse coming off of it. You may not be able to really discern exactly what it is, but it's almost like you can feel a faint hum coming off of it. It's very powerful. It's being charged with all that life force that you will need and all the knowledge that you will need. All that information of all past lives is coming into it so that you can glean from that knowledge and carry that forth for you. We're going to finish our integration now. I just want to see if there's anything else they want to tell us. The waves of ascension are upon you all. Listen closely with your ears to the sounds that you hear. When you're feeling low or when you need more inspiration, listen. What that means is allow your mind to quiet and just listen. When you listen with your physical ear, you're trying to reach out to the other side. And the information that comes through doesn't necessarily mean it's physical or it's mental or emotional. It just comes through. And it will come through in a way that makes sense for you. So just listen. Allow your ears to open. And so those times where you need a little bit of advice, when you need a little bit of certainty, you just listen and that knowledge will come through. So when it comes to work, for an example, and you're not sure what to do in a moment, just take a minute and really listen. We'll be there guiding you, guiding your thoughts, giving you the knowledge you need. And it allows you to take a minute to get out of yourself and to get out of that headspace and to just breathe back into that space of lightness, of divine matrix, of divine creation, divine connectedness. All that information is always there. And it just allows you to consciously connect. And so when you're trying to listen, it just means you're taking all your thoughts and just being present, just listening. And that's what we want you to do those times that you need inspiration. And those times that you need strength, you need your voice to come out. You need your voice to be louder. You need your voice to be heard. You need strength to say what you need to say. Think of putting armor on and wear your strength. Think of us standing behind you with our arms on either side of you, bringing you that wisdom, guiding your voice. Think of us allowing us to be your shepherds, guiding that information forth. And that's what we want from you, is just to be that sense of guidance and inspiration, that sense of helping. Allow that truth to come through for you. Allow that peace to come through for you. The last skill we want to leave from you is to feel grounded in the moments of uncertainty. A lot of times humans get all stuck in their head and they forget about the openness and the connectedness that's all around. And a lot of times when we're spinning or feeling out of control or feeling like we're not in a good space, it's because we're all stuck up here and we've closed everything here. So what you want to do is you want to allow your heart to open, but the easiest way is to think of a happy thought. And I know when you're really low, that's the hardest. It's really the hardest to grab onto. It's really the hardest to get yourself into that space. So what we ask you to do is just to take a breath and take a moment and center yourself. And what that means is to imagine yourself right here in your heart space and just to imagine light coming out, because what you're doing is you're stopping your brain from spinning and putting your brain someplace else. And really what you want is to have a heart-brain connection. What you really want to do is have all your thoughts and everything come from here, because this is the essence of you. This is your divine connectedness. And whenever you're trying to connect to the light, this is where you need to be. If this is all closed up and all traumatized, you can't open it and be as connected as you need to be. So what we need to do is open it back up. And so what we want you to do is just imagine being there. Imagine opening doors, opening curtains, letting light in, letting that energy flow. And then ask for that guidance, that support, ask for that grounding, whatever it is you're looking for at that moment. But to truly ground is to be here. A lot of people think it's deep in the earth, which it is. But the minute you go here, you go deeper into the earth anyways, and you go up. So what is up is down and connects. So that's a simple way. The other way is to think of the energy pulsing at your feet. Just really focus on your feet, because that brings the energy down. And then once you focus on your feet and your feet feel tingly, then you can go back into your heart. But you need to be here. As above, below, you need to be here. And this is where everything starts and ends from. When this is closed, you are not connected. When this is wide open, you're not connected. When you're too grounded, you're not connected because everything is focused on downward. We want to be up as well as down and open. And that's where we want you to start. So today, practice breathing, practice bringing in light, and then practice opening up your heart. Just imagine your heart like a house, and you're going in there and you're vacuuming out all the dust, and you're opening all the curtains, and you're bringing in all the light, and you're putting on awesome music, and then you bring in your family and your kids or whoever it is that makes you happy. Bring them into your heart space and have a little party in there, and just allow that energy to grow. And just keep going back into those spots. When you start feeling like you're losing that light, just go back in and clean that room out, and just keep cleaning it out, opening more windows. If you have to make more windows, cut windows and make more windows. Make that room almost like a solarium where all the light is there. And then after a while, imagine those walls being gone, and you're just in a field of love and light and flowers, and your family is there with you, or whoever it is you want to be there with you. There's always a power in connectedness with humans, and allowing that energy to come through, allowing that peace to come through. So when you're there with them and they're sharing a part of that with you, it makes you happier. So bring them in, bring in your animals, bring in whoever you need to be there with you. And that is our final piece. So thank you for allowing us to be here today and sharing this knowledge with you. We hope this helps, and we will come in other times to share more information with you. Thank you. Really interesting to see what gets you through some of those tough days. So hope it helps. Okay, thanks. Bye.